Hi, I'm Brad Merritt from 5440, and you're watching Favorites on Live in Limbo. I have two favorites. I follow Ricky Gervais and Stephen Colbert. They make me smile. Sometimes I laugh out loud, but they at least make me smile. We were leaving a show, and there was these young kids. When I mean young kids, they're about 20. And we're just about to get on our tour bus. And they're milling about, and they want to meet us. So we go over to say hi. And we start talking. And they're really into our band. And we've been a band for 25 years. I'm probably 45 years old at the time. And so I became curious about them because they were asking questions about me. And I said, what do you do? And that kind of thing. And I said, what is it about us, our band, that you like? What is it? And they thought about it for a little bit. And one of them said, you're so different. And it just made me laugh. And I think about it all the time. I think about it often. So I don't know if we're that different, but I think we're different from what was happening, what was made for his generation. So I think people now perceive us as being, maybe something from another time, but something which appears different now. I don't have a particular favorite song to play live. Some I enjoy more than others, and that changes from time to time. But when we're playing well as a band, I generally have my eyes closed and I feel at one with the music and my fellow band members and with the audience that's there. And it's an amazing thing. And it's a form of nirvana, actually, and it doesn't happen all the time. But it's pretty easy to tell because usually what my wife calls I do the giant Snoopy. It's usually my nose is way up in the air and I'm kind of dancing around a little bit. So look for that. My favorite artist right now at this very moment is probably Justin Bieber. And I never really liked or appreciated anything he did before this last record. And I would hear it in a setting where I wouldn't realize it's him. And I sort of got into the song or the songs as they're played. And it impresses me on every level. And what I like about it is that they're not bombastic. They try to bring you in. They're a little bit more, take a more humble approach in terms of production and style and even the lyrics. And so I think it's a real chance for him to kind of reinvent himself. And I find that extremely impressive. I give him full marks for that. Discovering new music and artists are a challenge. At home, I can go on a YouTube jag, I call it, where you just lose track of time and space, and you start at something that you've heard about, and it just takes you to another place, and that's an exploration, and that's how I discover artists at home. And on the road, it's very easy. Generally, when we're playing in our rock format, there's a band that opens for us. Quite often, we'll go out after we've played. On nights off, we usually go out and see a band or two. So I love live music, and that's a great way to see and experience and discover new bands. What I like to do when I'm stressed out that helps me is I like to play really loud music and do something around the house, like simply the dishes or vacuum, with or without the headphones. Like, I don't mind waking up the neighbors. And I don't do it enough, but I have to wait till everyone else is out of the house. And and it can be really basic stuff. It can be really like Led Zeppelin 2 or something like, or Rolling Stones' Sticky Fingers, or something which is just very riffy, very loud, high testosterone level, and that can change my outlook in an instant. Well, my thoughts on growth and perfection is that they're mutually exclusive. And I think that perfection or control it might seem as a kind of aspiration, but it doesn't exist. It's an illusion. And I think about, like, for instance, when in Turkey, when they make a carpet and it's perfect, they always pull one thread and pull over the side and make it a little loose, because they don't want perfection, even though they could achieve it. And their attitude is that it's a religious thing, actually, where only God is capable of this, and that they want to honor their God. But as far as trying to improve oneself, musically or as a person, I think being in a band, being around three guys that take the piss out of you constantly, and vice versa, keeps you humble and keeps you appreciative of the position that you're in. And I think that's a huge thing. I think it's lost on a lot of people when you see what's going on in the world, and the fact that we're taking in 25,000 refugees from the Middle East and Afghanistan, and there's over 1 million of them to deal with, and more coming. Just appreciate where you are and what you're doing at that moment, and that is a solid key to personal growth. My favorite venue in the whole world is the Commodore Ballroom in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And our band has played that venue over 50 times. And we're coming up to the 30th anniversary of the first time we played it on July 4th of this year, 2016, as a headliner. Before that, we'd opened up for other bands, actually. And it's a fantastic venue in and of itself. It holds 1,000 people. It's a big cabaret with a very springy, old-fashioned dance floor on horsehair and rubber tires, and a beautiful stage, and beautiful stained glass windows, and with great sight lines. Sounds fantastic, and it doesn't matter who you see there. The venue is a fantastic venue. As far as my favorite show, that changes from time to time, just as your mind and the way you perceive your own history changes. But we were honored to have the opportunity to open for the Rolling Stones at the Calgary Saddle Dome in 2006, I think it was. And we met them and got a photograph with them, and it was an historic occasion for our band. So that's one of my favorites. I have two very special musical instruments in my life. One is my main bass guitar, which is a 1966 Fender Jazz in Fiesta Red. And I obtained it by paying a lot of money for it and trading another bass that I didn't think as highly of. I did that about 7 years ago. And the other one is I just obtained recently, which is my mother's piano. It's the piano that I learned to play on a long, long time ago. 45 years ago, I started playing piano. So, and I just got that, moved to my house a couple weeks ago. Single most great thing that we've done or achieved as a band is simply still being a band 35 years after starting out. There's so many pressures that try to pull you apart. At the same time, there's so many things that I could have said that were fantastic. Record sales milestones, video of the year at Much Music, all that kind of stuff, platinum records and stuff, big shows we played. But I think, Neil and I, when we started this band in very late 1980, our objective was to play music, our own music, to write it and perform it. And if we could do that, then we were successful. So that's all we've tried to do.